Hey guys, welcome to the SimRacingPaddock. I'm William March, and in front of me is a rather interesting sim racing product. This product is from Sim Racing Studio, and it is a wind simulator kit. Specifically, this is the Double the Wind kit. So if you take a look at the box, you see it includes 3 devices. 2 fans that mount onto a sim rig, as well as a actual control box, which then would plug into the computer. This product is going to sync with the Sim Racing Studio software, and it syncs with a variety of different titles and allows you to sort of have wind blowing in your face to simulate the sensation of speed. Might not be the most realistic, but it should be an interesting product to test out. So with that being said, let's get this open. So, I've never really tested out a wind simulator in any of the sim rigs I've ever driven with, so I'm kind of curious to see how this will go. And this is my first time reviewing a product from Sim Racing Studio. I did test out their Sim Shaker software with my Butt Kicker Gamer 2, but I never really did a video talking about that. I might try that in a later date, talking about it in a video. So, this box is pretty decently packed and has quite a bit of stuff in it. So here is one of the fans, and it actually is GoPro mount compatible. So if you have GoPro accessories or anything like that, you can actually mount it and work it that way. I don't have too many accessories, so I don't really think I'm going to do that. I just need to find a way to mount it onto a sim rig, and it looks like this product has double stick tape, so that might be an option. So we'll take a look at that later in this review. So, on the back of the fans, you have an Ethernet adapter cable, as well as a power cord. What I'm curious about is if the power cord plugs into the box, or does it have a power cord for each fan. But looking at this is the control box. All these products are also 3D printed, and they feel pretty sturdy for being 3D printed. I don't know what material they used for the 3D print. But on the box, it doesn't have anything for power, so I'm wondering if it's in this white box here. So let's take a look in here, and this looks like this is a control box, but I don't see exactly. Okay, so the power box plugs into this splitter wire, and the splitter wire connects into both of the fans. So that's how that works, and with that being said, the rest in this is the cable to plug the fan into the control box, the power cord into the brick, and that's everything else that's in the box, save for the USB cable. Whoops. Save for the USB cable. So, that is everything in the box for the Sim Racing Studio Double the Wind pack. Also, these fans have what they call the air straightener. It's this slightly tapered cone shape on it where you get the fans more focusing their air that's being pushed out of the fan. So that means you get a more concentrated wind blowing in your face. So with that being said, let's get these set up on my sim rig and let's see how these go. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel in iRacing, and we are testing out the Sim Racing Studio PowerWind Double the Fan system. So I have this installed on my SimLab monitor stand, and we fired up iRacing Dallara IR18 at Sonoma Raceway, and at a stop, there's no wind, there's no fan going right now, and this is relative to vehicle speed, not relative to throttle positioning. So you can see, rev up the throttle, and you are not getting any of the fan movement. Once we get moving though, the fans start going. and you immediately feel it hit your face. And it's actually surprising how loud it is. So I will have some audio of the sound of the fans from my camera audio, and you can hear that for yourself. So yeah, these actually generate some noise, so I would definitely recommend wearing headphones. And also, wearing headphones means you get less of the wind hitting your ears sensation, which some people might like, some people might not. For me, I find it almost disorienting to an extent, and it kind of takes a little sense out of it takes a little of the immersion out, in my opinion. So with that being said, this is definitely a gimmick. This adds something to the experience to try to add to what you're feeling. And just because it's a gimmick doesn't mean it's a bad gimmick. This is actually something I'm really enjoying, despite it not being the most realistic. If you were driving this car in real life, you would definitely not feel the wind hitting your face because you're wearing a helmet, and that helmet would sort of block out the wind. Arguably though, you might have an air conditioning system going and blowing air into your helmet depending on what car you're driving, but that's not the same as wind actually hitting your face. So this, I'm actually enjoying quite a bit. This is a fun add-on to the system. And then let's talk about this wind curving simulation that they have. So when you're going through corners like I am right now, so we're about to go through a left-hander, the right fan will start blowing lighter. It will start reducing power while the left fan keeps going, and it sort of creates this illusion that you're feeling more wind on the side that you're not turning. So again, it's a gimmick. It's definitely not realistic, but it is something that's fun and kind of adds to the immersion factor. And I am enjoying it a lot. Also, the nice thing to think about with this blowing in your face is it's likely going to cause less sweat to your face. So less sweat on your face is arguably something that is definitely better in a sim racing race or event, because the sweat doesn't get in your eyes, and you just all in all have more just clarity because you're not getting your vision obstructed, and it's something that isn't distracting you as much. Granted, you might argue that the wind might distract you, but after a few laps, you do definitely get used to it. Hold on a second, let's reset the car. So, as I was mentioning, this is something that you can definitely get used to, and it's something that you enjoy. So, I would say it's not like a butt kicker where if you take it away from your experience, you feel like you're ultimately missing something and you can't do without it, but it's something that you really grow accustomed to and really gain a sense of enjoyment for. And that's the thing that really matters, that you are enjoying it, it adds to the experience, and it just really is something to add to your enjoyment of sim racing. So, before I get into my final thoughts, I want to talk about a little bit of information about how these work. So the power wind system is basically, I believe it's two 140 millimeter fans, and the two 140 millimeter fans, they are basically in these self-enclosed packages. So they actually require a single power cord, and the power cord is split and plugs into the two fans. Then they have, actually it's, I believe RJ12, or not RJ12, it's actually Cat5 Ethernet, and they plug into a control box, and that control box plugs in through USB into your computer. The control box actually supports up to, I think, 4 or 5 fans, and you can control those all through the Sim Racing Studio software. That basically is all it really comes down to. There are preset profiles, and then you can customize to fit your own personal preference. Right now I'm using the default because the default just works really well and I enjoy it. So there's that. And then also there's a question of how this mounts onto your hardware. So these are 3D printed enclosures that the fans are attached to, and they actually use GoPro mounts. So if you have any GoPro hardware, you could use that, but there's also included sticky pads that allow you to mount onto your setup. For me, I have it mounted onto my SimLab monitor stand and have it pointed down at me, and it works pretty well. I'd say the fans might be a little high, so I might not be getting the full blast, but I'm getting most of it, and it's enough to really immerse me. So, with that being said, let's tackle the question, do I recommend this Sim Racing Studio Power Wind? And I'm going to say yes. I'm really enjoying this. It's something that really adds to the sim racing immersion factor, even though it might not be the most realistic. I'd say my only complaint I would have is with oval racing. Oval racing, it feels a little weird with the wind curving, but you can fine-tune that in your settings or just turn off the wind curving entirely and just have it blowing in your face. And I'd say that would be more realistic than simulating the curving on a high-speed oval. But with that being said, this is just a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it a ton, and this is going to stick with me from testing rig to other rig and stuff like that. This will be something I will really enjoy on my setup. So guys, those are my thoughts on the Sim Racing Studio Power Wind Double the Wind setup. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. Have you tested this out before? Or are you looking for something like this on your setup? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit the bell icon so you can stay up to date on the latest from SimRacingPaddock. For SimRacingPaddock, I'm William Marsh, and you have a good one.